You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
That you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit. Anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. It takes courage to act. Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. Fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear put people in the hospital. Fear can aid you, can hold you back from doing something that you know within yourself that you're capable of doing, but it will paralyze you.
At the end of your feelings is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. Behind your little feelings, it might not be absolutely nothing at the end of your little feelings, but behind every principle is a promise. And some of you in your life, the reason why you're not at your goal right now, because you just all about your feelings. You all on your feelings. You don't feel like waking up. So who does? Every day you say no to your dreams, you might be pushing your dreams back a whole 6 months, a whole year. That one single day, that one day you didn't get up could have pushed your stuff back I don't know how long. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. Take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. Live your life with passion, with some drive. Decide that you're going to push yourself. The last chapter to your life has not been written yet, and it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
will make this goal become a reality. I won't talk about it anymore. I can. I can. I can.
To persevere, I think, is important for everybody. Don't give up. Don't give in. There's always an answer to everything.
So you guys are here today because at some point in your life, one day you woke up and made a decision. I want to be a trader. I want to trade for a living. You're here because you decided that you want more from life than just the mediocre life, just the daily grind from 9 to 5, and to struggle for everything. And you have big goals that you want for yourself, maybe even for your family. And you are not afraid to do what it takes to get there. And you know that you can do it. Somewhere deep down, despite all the struggle, you know that you can get there. And many times, it feels like you're just one step away. And despite all that, you still cannot turn the corner. So why is that? Why is it that some traders seems like they just do it and they follow their plan, they can make profit and they're successful? Like it costs them no effort. While most stay stuck and they keep losing and they keep struggling and failing. Why is it that so many traders are able to lose so much money that they cannot even fathom that they could spend that much money in their life, whether it's on themselves, on their pleasures, and then take the money and throw away, give it back to the market? And struggle, so many traders struggle to break even at the end of the month. Well, in this masterclass today, we are going to dig deeper into it, and you will discover the real reasons why this happened and what is it that you can actually do about it. Welcome, everyone. I am Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach, equity trader since 15 years, and the CEO and founder of Ahead Coach. And I am so excited to welcome you here today. Really glad that you decided to spend some time with me on your Saturday and join this class, How to Trade with Confidence Without Forcing Discipline. And I know that many of you have been waiting for this class for quite some time because I only give it twice a year. So I hope you are excited about what you are about to learn and discover. I know that many of you have been struggling with consistency, otherwise you wouldn't be here, and that everything that you have been trying and doing so far to solve your problems, the issues, the symptoms, hasn't been working. So today I will present to you a different approach, one that helps you actually stick to your plan, follow your rules with less effort, with less forcing, with less pushing to make things happen. And by the end of the session, you will have a very clear actionable steps to let go of stress, let go of impulsivity, and stop second guessing yourself and your trading plan, perhaps, and start trading with more ease. So no more fighting, no more struggle, no more pushing yourself, and definitely no more sacrificing your well-being and the joy in your life. And the goal is to finally break from the cycle of starting over and start building consistency in your trading, because without consistency, you cannot trade for a living. So you want to see growth of your confidence in your trading, growth in your account balance, and improvement of your overall quality of life. Sounds good? So the game plan for today is this session will run for about 90 minutes, okay? maybe a little longer, but that really depends where the conversation takes us. And there will be a possibility of one-on-one conversation within this class. So it's totally up to you how long you will stay. What matters for me the most is that you are present when you are here. So don't get distracted by some random chats, by some, by text on your phone, maybe put it away. Just make sure that when you are here, you really fully focus and allow yourself to get the most value out of this time. And if you have been at the class on Wednesday, know that even though we will be going through the same material, it might land a different way and you might discover different things within yourself, because it is not about the content, it is about how it resonates, with which part of you it resonates. And it might resonate different today than it did on Wednesday. Once we wrap up the main part of the class, then we will open the floor for questions. And in the hot seat, as I mentioned, if you are not familiar with what it is a chance to work with me directly on the screen. You can come up on your camera, open your mic, and bring in specific challenge you are facing in your trading, and then we will work through it together right here. This is kind of a personalized coaching real time, if you will, and it might give you just your next breakthrough. And Ava from my team is here to support you in a chat. If I think you have already met her. So she is going to make sure that you are getting the most value out of this class. If you have any questions, in the meantime, I am not going to be following the chat, because otherwise we'll be here for 5 hours. So she's going to give you also the links to the free resources, and I'm going to be sharing along as we go. And then last but not least, I am in Florida and it's summer and we have a storm going on outside. So here is a game plan in case of emergency scenario. If for some reason my power goes off, sometimes it just goes off and on immediately. It will take about 3 minutes for my modem to restart. Just stay on, maybe go and grab some coffee. Eva will be still in a chat guiding you through that time. And as soon as my modem is back on, I will be back here. All right. And before we dive in, I want to make sure that everyone says hi in a chat. If you haven't said anything yet in a chat, please let me know that you found it. Just say yes or hi, so that I know that you will be getting the links. Awesome. And I will have a really cool gift at the end of the class for those of you who show up here. So yeah, I hope you will stay till the end to be able to get that. All right, and let's get this one thing out of the way up front, okay? Just focus on the class. I am not going to be making any kind of offer at the end, okay? So just relax your mind and just focus on what we are here for, okay? So stop asking about the price in a chat. I saw on Wednesday, there are people who constantly were posting, what does it cost? What does it cost? I am not selling you anything here. So you can just completely relax, peace of mind. And what we will be doing here is I'm going to be sharing the exact process that I use in my coaching programs to help traders achieve consistency. Okay. And if you are interested to get that knowledge, then you are in the right place. If you decide to go deeper into the topic, what I'm teaching, we can talk about it after the class. Fair enough? All right. So without further ado, for those of you who are new to me, let me share a little bit about myself. And so you know who I am. I'm originally from Poland, and I left Poland when I was 22 and went to the Netherlands, and I lived there for 15 years. And in 2013, I moved to Florida, and this is where I'm still residing. I grew up in a working class family as a middle child. And for those of you who can relate to having an older sibling, I had an older sister, and I always wanted to be just like her. She was my hero. So whatever she was learning, I was learning. I was able to read when I was 4 already, because I was always ahead thanks to her. So I was tagging along everywhere, even though she not always wanted me to have me around, especially when she was with her friends. But I was sneaking in to even like her classes, the church classes, or the religion classes, when I was only 5. And one day, when I was in that class, the nun was asking questions, and the room was filled with people. The parents were standing in the back, all the kids, and I was so eager because I was so proud of myself that I knew the answers, and I knew I was much younger than the rest. So when the nun asks, where do people go after that after they die, when they were leading a good life? And I knew it was heaven, but she didn't pick me that time. When the next question came and she said, where do they go when they are not so good, when they sin? So this time she pointed to me, and I was lifting my head and jumping up and so proud of myself that I got my chance. So with all the confidence in me, I said, they go to hell. And there was suddenly like this laugh. Everyone was laughing. And I was standing there and I had no idea why. All I felt was that I was completely flabbergasted, and I was so in panic because I felt so ashamed. Everyone was laughing at me, and I felt so stupid, and I felt so lonely at that moment. And right there, I made this subconscious decision that shaped the rest of my life. I decided I cannot be wrong. I cannot make mistakes because I have to avoid that feeling of shame. I have to do everything not to feel this feeling again. So that's how it started for me. And my whole life, I pushed myself to be perfect at everything. I just couldn't risk being wrong because it was too painful. So I worked very hard and I pushed myself to the max. I achieved a lot, don't get me wrong. I have built successful businesses. I built corporate career, and, you know, I was very fulfilled that way, but at what cost? And when I started trading in 2010, I started trying to become successful in the very same way, by pushing, by pressing, by putting more pressure on myself, but trying to be perfect, definitely not making mistakes. And it was working against me. I paid even a higher price for it in trading. I lost a lot of money, and not just money, but I'll tell you about it in a bit. And for now, I just want you to know that since 2018, trading stocks has been my source of income. And I'm very proud of this because I was able to get out of that cycle, find a way out of it, and actually build a system that is helping now other traders to leave the same cycle of struggle, making money, losing it, and banging your head against the wall every time again. So 6 years ago, I started trading, coaching day traders, and combined my not just market experience and my experience in the failing cycle and getting out of it, but also my background in neuro-linguistic programming, which I have been studied for over 20 years now, and actually not just studied, really living it and embodying it, plus all kinds of other modalities, because personal development has always been my passion. So I combine all that, and and this is what I do now outside of trading. I focus on the holistic approach because trading influences your life. And even though everyone wants to trade for a living, it very quickly becomes living for trading. And this is where things go wrong. So I help traders to break through the mental blocks to start with, then build better habits and integrate trading into their life in a way that they can follow their plan effortless, with patience and with confidence, and build sustainable way of trading long term, so they can actually, do that for a living. And I have been really lucky to work with some of the biggest names in trading industry throughout my journey, and partners with great traders, speak at conferences, I am always very humbled by the opportunity. But what matters really the most for me is having contact with traders like yourself, really working with people who are in the midst of it, because I feel your pain. I've been there. And I know you have the potential to get out of there if you just have the right tools. This is really not about being perfect, not about knowing the strategy, but totally something else. And this is what we are gonna talk about today. So if you are that person, if you are that day trader and you are stuck in that cycle and you have no clue how to get out, if you are impulsive, if you second guess yourself, if you're hesitating to take a trade, or you hesitate if you will even ever make it, and it's costing you money, you might be asking yourself, first of all, why is this happening to me? And secondly, like, is this ever gonna end? Am I ever gonna make it? And I can tell you that you are not alone in this, because most traders, and as you know the statistics, there's a lot of them who are struggling, they feel the same way. And if you look at the statistics, it's kind of overwhelming. And I know that many people actually don't look at them, because if you start thinking about it, you can become very depressed, right? Like, so is it not going to happen for me? Because really only 4% of day traders can make a living from day trading, even if they have adequate capital and mentorship. So statistically speaking, only 4% of you guys, of the group of 30 people, is actually gonna do something with what you are gonna learn today. The majority will just fall back into your old routine, even though it's not working for you. So this is the reason why 72% of day traders end their year with financial losses. And 85% of day traders fail in their first year due to poor risk management and emotional trading. They simply do not have the discipline to execute the plan consistently, and they're allowing emotions to drive their decisions. How many of you are trading longer than 2 years? I know that some of you already told me that you are. How many of you are trading more than 2 years? Anyone? One person. 2. 3. All right, there we go. So congratulations, first of all. Congrats on your perseverance, because it is not nothing. You haven't quit, but you're here. So I assume that it's still not working and you're still spinning your wheels. And maybe you are asking yourself, when will I finally make it? And maybe you are not the only one. Maybe your spouse is wondering the same thing. So let's face it though, you don't want to quit, and it is not about just money, right? It's about how you feel every single day when you are walking away from the desk. This is about how you feel about yourself and about the rest of your life, how you sit at the dining table. And I think at this point, especially if you have been trading for a few years or more than 5 years, quitting is not an option, right? Because you want to make your losses back. And you're not a quitter anyway. You're not the type of person that quit, right? Especially after all the time and effort you have invested. So you might hope that all that hard work will finally pay off, right? I can tell you that it is not about working hard. It doesn't matter how hard you work. And it doesn't matter how long you work hard. Many of us have been taught that hard work equals success. This is like the biggest misconception that people take. Well, in life it's working, but in trading it doesn't. Anyone can relate to it? If I work hard, I'll be successful. You guys relate to that? Anyone achieved success already that way. Like, I have put so much effort. I even got the burnout, but I was successful, right? Yes. So just put more effort, put more time, it's going to work. But haven't you been doing this already in trading? Haven't you been putting effort? Haven't you been putting time? And is it working? Is more effort improving your results? It isn't, right? Maybe it is for a short while, but not for good, because you're here. And the idea of working harder always leads to better performance is simply not true. Research has shown that external pressures, financial rewards even, or social expectations, they do prompt people to work harder. So when you have this perspective of making money, you might work even harder, but they do not improve the quality of your performance. And this is what really counts in trading, the quality of your performance, not the quantity. And you have probably experienced it yourself already. And maybe you have tried to study more. Maybe you watch more YouTube videos, or maybe you have changed the strategy. Anyone chasing something better, something that works better because the current strategy is not working? You've tried it for a long time, maybe even 2 weeks. I'm making a joke. But this is what a lot of traders are doing. They are trying different strategies, swapping strategies every 2 weeks or every month, and they get themselves back to square one. So that doesn't work either. And it might give you the feeling of, all right, you know, I am going to start something new and learn something new. So you might start feeling better, actually. But as I said, you put yourself back to the point where you have to start testing your strategy and get acquainted with it. And when you add more knowledge, you just get more overwhelmed, because it is not about learning more and adding more. It is about doing something with what you already know. It is about putting things into practice. Otherwise, you create so much overwhelm and confusion. And it makes you question everything, because there are so many different, like, even if you add indicators, they speak against each other. And it just makes it more difficult to focus on your plan, because it is causing you stress. Anyone had ever experienced paralysis by analysis? That you were over-analyzing, overthinking, and then overcomplicating everything to the point that's like, I don't know anymore. Right? So there's already so much information coming at you in the market. There's so many options to choose from. Plus, there's always this new thing out there, some new strategy someone is promoting, or you saw this video on Instagram. There's always something, and there's always someone tells you, I just made $1 million trading this simple strategy, and it takes you only 15 minutes a day, and you will be a millionaire. Well, I can tell you that the stats, how many traders are successful from the time when I started in 2010, they haven't changed. So somehow it is not working. Wonder why. The problem isn't your lack of knowledge, it's the execution, and it's the quality of the performance. So if this is not the hard work, if this is not the knowledge, how many of you think that the discipline is the answer? Discipline, right? How many of you say, I need to be more disciplined? How many of you say that to yourself? I need to be more disciplined so I can follow my plan. I know I have every single day, because this is what you hear everywhere. This is what, like, if you cannot follow your plan and stick to your rules, the rules require discipline, right? Well, it isn't. at least not in a way that discipline is typically understood. And here is why. I have been working with traders on a daily basis for over 6 years now. Do you know what they all have in common? They are very ambitious people. And guess what? They are also very disciplined. Most of them are high achievers, very successful in their career. Some are running even businesses. They are not afraid of challenges. They have, they have built quite a good life for themselves. I have even worked with professional traders who started trading for themselves and then started to struggle. They are not only hardworking, but they're very knowledgeable and they're very disciplined. They know exactly how to push themselves, how to get through the challenges, how to achieve their goals. So why is that with all the discipline, traders are still struggling? It's because the kind of discipline most people know and use doesn't work in trading. And you have probably noticed it already yourself, that the more you try to force yourself and the more you try to push yourself to stick to your plan, the more it seems like you're pushing your success away from you, because you start feeling even more stress. And with all that pushing, you're still not following your plan. And psychology and neuroscience shows that stress triggers, that everything that has to do with what trigger your stress is activating your emotional responses. So stress activates your emotions, making it harder to stay calm and make rational decisions. So basically, stress makes you less effective, and pushing discipline and forcing discipline on yourself is triggering stress. And there you go. So the idea of strict rules and rigid discipline that you find everywhere when we talk about, trading, all the books and everything. I remember when I was reading my very first book about trading, it said you have to be disciplined. And I thought, okay, pretty good discipline. But in reality, the discipline that is about forcing and pushing yourself creates more stress and fear. And if you have been there, you know that those two things are leading you to impulsive decisions, are bringing you into the state where you go on tilt. And then what happens after? You beat yourself up over it, right? And that makes it only things worse. So let's be honest. How many of you have called yourself names after a loss? Maybe you said, I'm so stupid, or I'm such an idiot, or I'm such a loser. Or was I the only one who was doing that? Or are you guys all very loving to yourself? It's like, oh, that's okay. That's okay that you're taking a loss, right? So here's the thing. With this kind of self-criticism, you cannot build confidence. No wonder that you cannot trust yourself or your trading plan, because you keep telling yourself that you are making bad decisions, that you are an idiot, that you're stupid. How can you trust your instincts if you constantly tell yourself there is something wrong with you? So you cannot trade confidently when you are stuck in that cycle of fear and stress. It simply messes with your focus and memory. And the two things that you need for focus and your memory, you need them to make rational decisions. So there's really no surprise that you are ending up being emotional, impulsive, even unpredictable, just like the market. So the so-called discipline that you think is helping you is sabotaging you. So the stress triggers that are being activated, it brings your nervous system into fight, flight, or freeze response. And it's pushing you into those automatic survival mode. And maybe you have experienced you know, the headlights, what is it, the deer in the headlights, where you stare at your screen, you see a trade draining your account, and you just sit there frozen, watching the money go bye-bye, and you cannot even move. Or maybe you have been over trading and oversizing and fighting the trend, like your life depended on it, like not even seeing anything else, just being hyper focused on this one thing and just trying to make it work. And I'm sure that some of you have been there, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So no, the discipline is not an answer. So here you are, trying to stay afloat and deal with all that pressure and stress. You get pressure from the market, you get external pressure, and it could be expectations from other people, it could be your financial pressures, just simply have to pay the bills, the pressure that you're losing the money, all kinds of things from outside, and of course, internal pressure, all the things that you are experiencing and telling yourself here and feeling here. So all this pressure is what you are dealing with. And when you do that, you cannot even see what's in front of you. You're completely losing sight of seeing what is happening on the screen. And kind of, you know, no wonder you can be confused to figure out like what is true, what is your opinion, what is the right decision. But the thing is that no matter how overwhelming those forces are, they're there and they won't go away. Because as a trader, you are confronted with them every single day. This is basically your working conditions. If you were working at the airport, directing all the planes with all the noise, they would give you headphones, right, to protect your hearing. In trading, you gotta also build a sort of a protection mechanism, but a different way, not your survival instinct. You have, in trading, it's almost like going against your natural instinct, like being a firefighter who is running into the fire instead of running away from it. So I know it's uncomfortable and it is not easy because it is against your nature. So the moment that you fall into this natural behavior, the rest is history. That's why when you are on tilt, you're like, I cannot even stop it. So in trading, that means that you got to be ahead of it, ahead of all those pressures, and know how to, first of all, how to stop it, how to not get triggered by it, or being able to handle it, and also build that protection mechanism and build completely different approach to be able to exist in your working conditions without getting attached to the outcomes, without forcing trades. And really, instead of fighting those forces that are there and will always be there, you need to learn to navigate them and to build the skills so that you can detach from those pressures and then stay with in integrity with yourself. And that will help you to follow the plan. And that requires discipline, because discipline is an answer to chaos, but it is not the kind of discipline you are using, because that discipline is exactly activating that automatic pattern, that automatic system that is getting you in trouble. So not pushing yourself and trying to do everything right, because that only adds pressure and it's not even needed in the market. You need a completely different approach, the one that helps you make rational decisions and be resilient when the market is moving up and down while you're watching it, so that you can maintain consistent performance. And this is all without being influenced by that unnecessary pressure. So, and this is why I help traders develop a different kind of discipline that helps them navigate through these forces, not getting lost, in the triangle. I call it Bermuda Triangle or a market triangle. And simply stay focused on your plan, regardless on which force is pulling on them. And this is the approach that I call compassionate discipline. So let me explain. As I already mentioned, I started trading when in 2010, but it wasn't not until 2014 that I actually learned the basics of trading and took a 3-month bootcamp to learn the technicals. So because I was very serious about it and I have achieved a lot of success in my life until that point, I gave up my well-paid job to trade full-time, even though I just literally started. So after a very, very initial quick success, literally in 2 weeks, I made $10,000 and I thought, I got it. And then I got into a short squeeze and the rest is history. I lost all the money that I made. First, I lost, I think, like $4,500, and in the next 2 days, I lost the rest. And this is where my struggle started. Every day for the next 2 years, I felt like I was fighting myself all the time, really banging my head against the wall. And at the end of the day, crying, walking the dog with my husband and crying in his sleeve about my trading. So, like, you know what to do, you understand the strategies, and you do have the drive, but even despite all that, you still keep breaking your rules every single time. So you're chasing, you're jumping in, jumping out of trades, and you keep fighting the market for the reasons that you cannot explain, not even seeing that you are trading against the trend. And then you wake up swearing the next day that it's going to be different. You are going to make 3 trades and then stop for the day. And then 2 minutes into the open, you are already on your max loss. And for the rest of the day, you're just trying to recover your losses and not even hoping you're going to make some money. Just please let me end up break even. That was me. And I kept thinking, if I just worked harder, if I would just be more strict with myself, have more discipline, then things would click. But they didn't. And they did not change with time for better. Actually, it was getting worse. And the harder I pushed, the more out of control I felt. And I kept making the same mistakes. Like, it really made me feel like an idiot. Like, oh my God, a lot of shame. I cannot even tell people like what I'm doing. They'll think I'm irresponsible. So I kept losing money and I couldn't understand how to change that. And why is this happening? Why I was not able to figure this out. Me, this person who was very successful in my life. So that feeling of shame, I remembered really very well from when I was 5, when this whole thing happened with the nun and the question that I answered wrong. And I started getting confronted more and more with all the issues. It was like the computer was the screen. All the demons were coming out. And this is what I started experiencing. Like my coach at that, when I was learning, he said, you will get confronted with all the demons. And I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. But this is what started happening. So I felt really lost and I didn't have a plan how to break that cycle. So I just kept trying and I kept doing, the usual thing, YouTube videos, following one person, second person, going into chat rooms, changing strategies, all the usual thing. But then one day everything has changed when I remember it was Saturday and I was kind of relieved that I didn't have to trade that day because it was so stressful every day. And I was sitting outside. It was beautiful weather. At that time, I was living in Miami Beach and I was overlooking the ocean. I was like, finally taking a breath. But I started getting headache and started getting strong really fast. And something in me said, this is not normal. Your body is not reacting the right way. And I was home alone. So without thinking too much, for the first time in my life, I called the ambulance. And by the time that they came, I was hardly there. I was on my couch. I vaguely saw them coming in with a stretcher and doing their thing. And later on, the nurse told me, "You are lucky to be alive." And it scared the hell out of me. And she also said, "Your life is going to change forever." So I really didn't know what that meant at that time. And then in the following days, I did a bunch of tests. They couldn't find a reason why this happened. There was nothing physically wrong with me. The doctor asked me one thing: "Do you have any source of stress in your life?" And that's where I thought, do I? Because trading was the only source of stress at that time. I just didn't realize how much it was affecting me until that moment. And it wasn't about losing money. It was about what it made me as a person. I used to be that confident person, the self-assured woman that was achieving success and could achieve anything she put her mind to. And I lost her. I completely lost the belief in myself and the sense of control, and I didn't know how to get it back. So they sent me to a psychologist, and when she asked me, "Why don't you just stop trading?" I broke down in tears, and all I could say to her was, "Because I can't stop." Because I couldn't give up. I felt that I had to fight. This is what I knew. This is what I suddenly realized at that moment, that I fought for everything in my life. I knew very well how to do that. Pushing myself hard and fighting is the way. That's what I've learned, how to achieve success. And in my life, I had burnout. I went over my limits many times. And I took that approach and put it into trading, and it wasn't working. It was destroying me. So I knew that I had to change something. And I was fortunate enough to have the background of NLP and other modalities to really do that self-discovery process on myself. And I discovered all those patterns coming back and how this was affecting my behavior in trading, how this was affecting my nervous system. And that all the pushing harder and being harsh on myself, the discipline that I was forcing, wasn't working. So in fact, it was working against me because it made me fight the market. But it's really not the market you're fighting, it's yourself. I kept fighting against myself. And I needed a new approach. So what I now do is I teach exactly that approach that I call compassionate discipline. Because when the nurse told me my life is going to change forever, she was actually right. It did. Because when I applied this new approach, everything has changed. Like everything changed completely. My confidence came back. I started trading with less effort, with more patience. And in fact, I was able to follow my plan without forcing myself. I felt good about myself again, and it felt easy. And I was also kinder, much kinder to myself. I wasn't calling myself names anymore. I really felt proud of every single achievement that I was having in my trading. And that wasn't the case before in my life. And that has made an incredible impact also on my private life and me as a human being. The difference was huge. And then, you know what? I also started enjoying trading, because after those 2 years, I still have the journal where it says, I don't even know if I like trading. I don't even know why I'm doing that. And maybe some of you can relate, writing or even thinking things like that. So this is when I realized that this was so powerful, that this whole concept that I called compassionate discipline is so powerful that I want to share this with others. And this is why I now help traders to develop it and see incredible results in a very short time. So let me share a little bit more about that approach, because I want to show you the steps that you can take for yourself to develop it. So compassionate discipline proved itself to be the easiest way to follow your trading plan and rebuild your confidence. It's also the quickest way to develop the patience that you need, that every trader needs to become consistently profitable. And the difference between the night and day is that compassionate discipline is very different from what most traders think of. It's not about being soft on yourself, by no means. But it's also not about beating yourself up. It's about making smart choices, decisions that are in your best interest, that line up with your bigger goals, regardless of what the market is doing. It's about, just think about it like this. The market is going to always throw things at you, like fake outs, reversals. There is going to be a tweet from someone that is going to start moving the market. There will be a lot of noise. And if you are reacting to every single thing, every single tick, every price movement you're chasing, you're stressed. You will second guess yourself and you'll be all over the place. But when you stick to your system with compassionate discipline, your plan, your rules, suddenly you're calm and you know that this one losing trade doesn't matter because it's just a small piece of a much bigger picture. And this is exactly what compassionate discipline gives you, that structure that lowers the stress and that makes mistakes part of the process instead of crisis that you have to immediately correct. How many of you is sort of allergic to a red color? When you see a loss, you just start fighting immediately. I cannot take a loss. How many of you have a belief of, I cannot take a loss? And yeah, and I can tell you a lot of traders do. This is the biggest struggle, right? I cannot take a loss. So know that that is a limiting belief. That is a belief that is that there are things behind it, that it is fueling all those sabotaging actions you are taking. Avoiding a loss, the same thing. And there is a pattern that is connected to it on a deeper level that creates a neural connections in your brain, and you simply execute that program. So when you are approaching the market with compassionate discipline, with that structured process, you will feel confident naturally because the process is built on consistency and realistic expectation and not chasing perfection. Not being able to make mistakes is part of your perfection, part of your belief system, part of who you are right now and what you believe, because in trading, as you know, you do not have to be 100% right. And I cannot tell you how many traders come to me with that exact thing, with believing that, like knowing here that, yes, I know I don't have to, but here, totally different story. In their heart, they're still trying. I know I don't have to, but I'm still trying. And for those of you who struggle with impatience, compassionate discipline is a game changer. It helps you regulate emotions that are causing you to be impatient as well, so that you don't ride this roller coaster of highs and lows every single day. So patience is such a beautiful thing. I have many traders I start working with, they come to me and it's like, I am so impatient. And then when I see them after, 4 to 8 weeks or so, suddenly they're just waiting there for the setup. It's absolutely incredible how quickly you can shift your mindset and therefore start fueling your actions from a different software, so to say. Studies shows that when you approach yourself with self-compassion, it changes everything because it builds resilience, it lowers your stress and anxiety, and it helps you stay in control of your emotions because of that. So you are calmer, you are more grounded, you are more patient, and it's much easier for you to make rational decisions that are moving you forward in your trading instead of putting you back every time into the same spiral. And this is not just something that, researchers figured out in the lab. History is full of examples of people who use this kind of approach, and they performed at their very best under pressure with that approach. Take, for example, Thomas Edison. His discipline wasn't about grinding himself into the ground. It was rooted in self-compassion. He is the one who said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. It takes great self-compassion to approach things like that and to reframe it and to actually be able to achieve your goal from that mindset, because it keeps you going, even after thousands of setbacks. And it allows you to turn failure into progress. So now you might be thinking, well, I'm not Edison. I have tried so many different things in trading and none of them worked, right? And I get it, because, I've been at this for a while myself. And if you have been losing trades, blowing up accounts, going through the same painful cycle, of course, your brain is going to tell you you will probably fail again, because our brain takes the evidence of what is and gives you the information. This is just how our mind works. So the good news is that I have seen traders who came to me after being stuck in a cycle, sometimes for a long time, for 10. I worked with someone who was stuck in there for 16 years, and they were able to break that cycle. And it happened just in 12 weeks once they started practicing compassionate discipline. But it's a practice. It's not a magic pill that you say, oh, I'm doing it and that's it. Compassionate discipline, just like any other kind of discipline, it's daily practice. And it works. And the reason why it works is because it creates the environment of trust with yourself. So you stop constantly criticizing or second guessing, and you're becoming your own friend. You have that mindset that helps you make choices that are aligning with your best interest, and not just in the moment, your best interest long term. You're not chasing that one-time profit. So it's about really giving yourself everything and exactly what you need to succeed, without have to bend backwards to please everyone else, or without beating yourself up because you're not perfect. So it's really about being your own biggest supporter, the one that is cheering you up, the one that it's helping you move through the tough days, and that is showing you the same patience, the same kindness, just like you would give to your best friend. You wouldn't tell your best friend you're such an idiot, especially when they fail, right? And when you treat yourself that way, you can actually start trusting yourself again and feel confident, because you can trust that you will follow through on your promises. And this is what builds real emotional resilience. This is what helps you ride those waves of up and downs in the market, instead of abandoning your plan and falling apart. So at the end of the day, compassionate discipline is really what keeps you grounded and focused on what matters the most, which is your mental and physical well-being as a trader. Because without that foundation, you cannot sustain consistent performance. And without consistency, sorry to bring it to you, trading for a living will always stay out of reach. You need consistency, and you know that. One of my biggest aha moments when things really made me commit to compassionate discipline as your tool number one for consistency was when I doubled my trading account in just 6 months. And I was skeptical. Don't get me wrong. After 2 years, I was skeptical, because what if it's going to go back again? But it never did. And this is what made me fully commit to it. And listen, I achieved it not by changing my strategy, okay? I didn't spend more hours sitting at the charts, actually the opposite. what changed was my mindset. And that shift was what kept me consistent and profitable ever since. So I don't want you to just take my word for it. That's why I put this on the screen. This is one of my students, Federico. If you were here on Wednesday, you have met him. He spent 5 years struggling in the market, 5 years. And within just 4 weeks of us working together, he not only got his funded account, but also he received his first payout. And what changed? Same thing. He stopped pushing harder, he stopped forcing more effort, and started applying compassion and discipline. So this is the difference that the approach makes. And that's exactly what it can do for you as well. Here's just a few more results, because I want you to know this is not some kind of BS. These are real traders with real results. And the crazy part is most of these changes happen in less than 12 weeks. And that's why I can say with full confidence that compassionate discipline isn't just theory. It's the quickest and the easiest way to rebuild your confidence, to follow your trading plan, and finally create consistency in your trading. So I have seen it over and over again, and I could fill this whole presentation with, with testimonials. But one thing that I really want you to know is that there is nothing special about them. They're not different than you. They have same audacious goals. And the only difference is that they decided to take action and change their approach. And when you do that, compassionate discipline doesn't just change your trading, but it really changes also how you approach yourself in your life. And therefore, your life changes for better. Instead of fighting and forcing and pushing yourself and barely surviving, you start thriving. And it might be something new to you. Maybe you don't even know how to thrive exactly. And that could be one of the reasons why you don't allow yourself to succeed, and you make things more difficult for yourself, and you sabotage yourself in your trading. So the moment that you are actually at the point when things are going well, your mind is taking you back and say, no, we gotta deserve this. We gotta fight for this. This was too easy. Anyone recognizes it? Things going well, and then suddenly you do one thing and boom, you're back to square one, right? In the most creative ways possible. Alan, I have been there, and the moment that I realized, when I discovered the pattern and exactly how I do it, I was shocked. And I actually looked back at my life and I saw that I have been always doing that. And it came from the programming, how I have learned to achieve success. So it's really the compassionate discipline, when you start implementing it and when you start seeing those patterns and how to, and you start changing them, it's such an incredible feeling and such an incredible, powerful way to really change the way you show up every day to the market and show up in your life. It's not a band-aid, it's not a short-term hack. It's a long-term strategy that gives you the foundation that you need to sustain your success, because if you want to trade for a living, you need something sustainable. And the traders who stick with it are seeing consistent profitability, not because they're forcing themselves harder, but because they have built a mindset that works for them in both calm and also chaotic times when the market is crazy. And the mindset is grounded in resilience, patience, and also confidence. So that's why I'm here with you today, because I want you to experience the same, to reclaim your confidence, to step back into your power, so you can finally create the freedom that you have been chasing with compassionate discipline. And if you are still here with me, chances are that you are nodding your head and you are like, I'm ready to shift my approach. I finally want to use this compassionate discipline to become the trader that I have been so hard working on, right? And maybe you have even tried to be more compassionate with yourself, right? Maybe you just didn't know exactly how to connect it to discipline and how to connect that into moving forward. Maybe you have not been doing that consistently. So you gave up before it even had a chance to really work. Or maybe you simply haven't been doing it as well as you could. I don't know. But wherever you are, you're probably asking the same question. Where do I begin? Because once you see why the old way of discipline and forcing it doesn't work for you and how compassionate discipline can completely change your trading, the next natural step is, how do I actually start, right? How do I begin to build this approach so that I can stop my emotions from taking over, making me this crazy person in front of this chart, so I can stick to my plan and finally get out of that cycle and end my frustration, right? But the first things first, before I show you the steps, I want to know, and I want you to know, if this is the right approach for you and your trading. Because there are a few things that are required before you can use that approach. And the question number one that I want to ask you is, do you really want to break the cycle and move forward in your trading with consistency? And it might seem like, of course, but are you ready for your new life, for being actually a successful trader? Because for many people, sticking with the old can feel very comfortable, and going into something new requires changes, and changes are uncomfortable. So give me a yes in the chat if you are ready, if you want to change, okay? Awesome. Very good. And those of you who have not put a yes, answer this question for yourself at least, okay? And be honest with yourself. This is a moment to have the integrity with yourself and be honest. Now, the question number two, the questions will get harder, I promise. Because I know you like a challenge. So, do you want to work less, feel less stressed, and enjoy your life more? And this is not a tricky question. Do you really want to work less, or you actually enjoy working hard? Because I can tell you, I work with a lot of people who, in no time, they were able to trade for just an hour in the morning, and then the rest of the day is like, what do I do? Right? So some people really actually want to work less, more. Don't get there in a few years even. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have yeses here. Are you someone who likes diving deeper into what drives you? So really looking deeper into yourself, doing the research, allowing yourself to discover what's under the surface. Because sometimes it might take your breath away. And sometimes it might be uncomfortable. And this is the reason why people usually go to someone else to help them do this process, because we tend to have blind spots, right? And when it becomes difficult, our survival mechanism says, oh, no, we don't go there. We don't want to go there. So your subconscious shuts it down, or your conscious brain actually shuts it down, and you cannot get there. So you do need to be willing and like the process, enjoy the process of doing that, or at least allow yourself to do that. Be curious. All right. And then the last question, do you have a trading strategy that works? Which means, does your strategy have positive expectancy? Is it tested? Have you seen someone else making money with that, or have you made money with it? If you struggle to have consistent results, that's a different story. But do you have a strategy that works, that you know has a positive expectancy? And if your answer is no, consistency is a different thing. That's the execution problem. That's the performance problem. But the strategy itself, like if you would give it to a robot, would it work? So if your answer is no, then while compassionate discipline will absolutely change the way you approach the market, your goals, yourself, and your life, it will help you in so many ways. It might not bring the results in trading that you're hoping for, because if you don't have a profitable strategy, that's not going to happen, because you need to do tango. If you want to reach profit consistency, you need profitable strategy and consistency. So if you do have a strategy that works, and the only missing piece is being able to actually stick to it and execute it on a consistent basis, then you are going to love compassionate discipline, because this is exactly what it's for. And that's where we are heading next, okay? So let me show you how to exactly build the compassionate discipline step by step, so that you can follow your trading plan with ease, build patience, be patient when it counts, and trade with confidence. And you might want to grab a piece of paper and pen and write things down. So here's the big picture. There are 4 components. And when you finally have all 4, it will all connect together in a simple, easy to follow process, leading to consistency in your trading, and as a result, consistent profit with the strategy. So let's take it step by step, shall we? Most traders ask themselves the wrong question when things are not working. They're sitting there thinking, why can't I just follow my plan? And the automatic answer they reach for is, I probably just need more discipline, right? We talked about it, or maybe better strategy. But that's a trap, because the real question that you need to ask yourself is, who am I as a person and as a trader? What is actually driving my behavior? What is this automatic, this programming that is playing out on the back of your head? Because the reality is that your struggles are not about not understanding things about trading, or that you don't know enough. They are about not understanding why you keep doing the things that you know you shouldn't. Why do you chase trades? Why do you break your rules? Why do you keep acting in ways that go against your own goals, against yourself? It's hard to stick to your decisions if you don't know what is driving you to change them. And when that clarity is missing, then the fear comes in. It's a natural response to feeling out of control or uncertainty. If you don't understand your motivations, your mind doesn't feel in charge, period. And that is what leads you to impulsive decisions and emotional reactions. So that's why redefining your identity as a trader is the very first step in this process. And it's the best way to make following your plan effortless, so that you can build consistency. So let me explain. The trader you are today, the way that you think, the way that you act in the market isn't random. It's shaped by your life experiences, by your upbringing, and the beliefs that you have built along the way. In other words, it's part of your identity. And just like the story that I shared earlier with you when I was 5 years old, shaped the way that I approach things in my own life, you have also been shaped by many experiences in your life. And the truth is that many of those experiences are still influencing the way you trade, and you might not even be fully aware of it. Most likely you aren't, because you keep repeating the same behaviors. So now if you want to achieve something that you have never achieved, you have to become someone that you have never been. That means that in order to act like a successful trader, you need to think and act like one. And that includes aligning the software you're running at the back of your head, so to say, aligning your beliefs with that vision of the person you want to become, because your beliefs direct your actions. So redefining your identity as a trader is about understanding who you are now and who do you need to become in order to achieve your goals. It's about aligning these two things, your current identity with a trader you want to be, basically. And that includes your values, your beliefs, even your lifestyle. Not forcing yourself into how your ego or how other people think that the ideal trader should be. There's plenty of key to success on social media. There's this picture of the superhuman, the trader. It's not about that. It's about focusing on what works for you, what suits you as a person, what aligns with your goals, what kind of strategy suits your character, rather than trying to fit yourself into a blueprint that someone else made for you. And this alignment is exactly what will make your trading performance sustainable in the long run, because you cannot build consistency on a trick. Otherwise you'll burn out. It's like you're playing a role, and maybe you have experienced that in your life where you, in some social context, you forced yourself to pretend you are someone else than you are. It's exhausting, and you cannot keep it up, especially if you want to trade for a living. Because when your beliefs, your values, and your lifestyle does not align with your goals, it's pretty darn hard to keep up with this. Otherwise, when they do align, it's easy and effortless, and you will feel confident that you can achieve them. So then you start taking actions that help you move toward your desired outcome. And even just by understanding what your identity is, you will already start seeing changes. They now, with one of my students, said that she now can see, through going through this process, she can see that when she needs to step away from her computer before this whole pattern, this domino effect, put her into a tilt mode. She can see and feel when this pattern starts taking control of her trading and is able to actually walk away. She said, I was able to see my thoughts were out of alignment, and I walked away to eat lunch and paid. So now think about this. About 90% of day traders won't make it, right? So statistically, that means that only 10% of you will actually succeed. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and notice what comes up in your mind when you hear that. Which group do you believe you will fall into? And just take a second to reflect. Are you in the 10%? What is the first thing that comes up? What's the first thought that comes up in your head? Let me know in the chat. Which group are you in? What is it that you are telling yourself? 10%. Who else? I'm in the 10%. I can do this. 10%. All right, I need more answers, guys, for the statistics. Does everyone think that you're in 10%? Yeah, so I can tell you, based on those classes, that most people, actually all people who respond, they think they are in the 10%. And still, only 10% of you who says it will get there. Isn't that interesting? The belief that you have about your success or failure in trading, that actually doesn't reflect the reality of what will happen. But that belief will shape your actions. So if you believe you'll fail, your behaviors will reflect that, whether you realize it or not. When you believe that you are gonna succeed, your behavior will reflect it too. It doesn't say anything if you will, but your behavior will be accordingly to your belief. And maybe you'll be fighting like a lion, and maybe you will be fighting the market. because you made yourself believe that you will succeed no matter what. Again, whatever you believe doesn't say what will actually happen. It's about reinforcing those stories that you tell yourself every single day. And your beliefs play, and those stories play a huge role in your trader's identity. Many of the self-sabotaging habits that you experience, like breaking your rules, the need to be right, procrastinating, are driven by limiting beliefs. These beliefs shape how you see yourself, how you approach challenges, how you respond to mistakes, to losses, to failures. They are defining what is it that you are capable of and what you are not. If you don't understand these beliefs that you have that driving your actions, you are operating on autopilot. And that's why you are continuing the same cycles. It's an autopilot. But when you redefine your identity as a trader, you shift the limiting beliefs, you change the stories to align those actions that you need to take to become the trader you want to be. And it's effortless to get there because you are in alignment. So you stop limiting yourself by those past experiences that creates the belief in the first place, or your fears. And this is the shift that will completely change your results. If you skip this step, if you don't do this on your journey, you will simply fail to get out of the cycle because you are stuck in that automatic sabotaging patterns. You will be fighting your own limitations, telling yourself the same stories, and reinforcing maybe the belief that, at some point, maybe there it's already somewhere there. Maybe you are incapable of achieving the goal of trading. Maybe there is a thought questioning it. Will I ever be able to make it? So at some point, you might even say to yourself, this is just the way I am. I'm just a failure. This is not going to happen. And then you will look at your life and you pick those things that didn't work and you say, you see, I have here the evidence. Please know that none of this is defining what will actually happen. All that is needed is changing your program, changing how you think and how you see yourself now so that your future can change. Because the result of what you have now as evidence, what is happening in your trading, is a result of how you were thinking and what you were believing yesterday. So let me show you how you can get started on this step, how you can begin to redefine your identity. And inside my coaching program, we have a step-by-step process for that helps you expand on it. But here are the steps that you can begin with. So the first thing is becoming aware of the beliefs and the behaviors that are shaping your trading decisions. So reflect on moments and just write down for yourself those questions. You can take a screenshot if you want. Reflect on those moments when you have broken your own rules. And if you are someone who is journaling, you might find this information in your journal already, if you journal it in that way. So when were you breaking your own rules? You chase your trades, maybe acted impulsively, and ask yourself, what do I believe about myself as a trader? What is it that I believe that I reflect in these behaviors? Ask yourself also what past experiences or fears might be influencing your decisions. What is it that is driving your decisions? And really dive deeper into it. Like not like, oh, quick answer. Contemplate on it. I saw someone saying you like contemplating. It's a perfect question to contemplate on. And also, how do I react when things don't go according to plan? How does it make me feel? What do I experience? And you can even go deeper into this and ask yourself, do I actually recognize these feelings? Or is this the first time I'm feeling it? Or is it recognizable from somewhere from the past? So let me know in the chat what things are coming up when you ask yourself these questions. Let me see in the chat. Can you please explain with an example to how to redefine traders' identities? I'm still not able to understand. Well, I don't know when you exactly ask those questions, the question, but this is exactly how you begin. So you start looking at what is driving you, what is part of your identity of your trade. Like, who are you as a trader? What is it that you are believing? What story are you telling yourself? And here are the questions, the prompts that you can use that will help you define that. Does that help? Sahai, I hope I pronounced your name well. So by identifying these patterns, you will understand where they are coming from and how they have been holding you back. And my students will tell you that redefining yourself as a trader is one of the most powerful workshops in my program, because it doesn't just affect your trading. It really impacts your entire life, because it's not a trick. Trading is not a trick. It's really finding the deeper connection with yourself. And that's why it's an emotional thing. And if you are trying to eliminate emotions, you cannot find that connection. And that's part of the struggle. So you probably have heard the saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. This is exactly the reason why this is the first step in my program. And a little side note, last week I released a podcast episode where I talk about this topic, so feel free to check it out. It's Confidence in Trading Podcast, all major platforms. And in the episode title is Why Consistency Starts with Who You Are and Not What You Do. And then the step 2, define the trader that you want to become. So take some time to imagine the kind of trader you want to be. And really think out of the box, like not the trader that you see on social media, but the trader that you want to be. Like, what does fit in your life? What kind of person you are, and what would that life as a successful trader for you look like? And just think beyond the money. Just ask yourself, what values do I want to embody as a trader? What mindset do I need to adopt so that I can actually feel confident, so that I can make rational decisions? How do I want to feel throughout the day, but also when I trade? Do I want to be focused, calm, in control? Do I want to be completely relaxed? Take time to visualize it for yourself so that it becomes more real, that you can actually have a much clearer picture of what is it that you are wanting. Because if you say, oh, I just want to make, I don't know, $200 a day. Some people say, I just want to make $200 a day. Is that your audacious goal? Is this the money is not like, you want to feel a certain way, right? The reason why you want this money is because of what this money is going to make possible for you. So if you say, oh, I want to make $10,000 or $500,000, I don't know, whatever it is per year, what does this represent for you? What is the trader you want to be as a person? So while you are asking yourself these questions, just also notice what's coming up. Like, what kind of sensations in your body, what kind of feelings are coming up? Freedom. Freedom is a very, it's actually so good that you say that. Thank you for that, because freedom is a very abstract concept. If you ask me, I want a house, can you please paint me a house? Make a painting of a house. I'll paint you a house, but it will be very different than you probably imagine. So what does freedom represent for you? How does freedom look like? Visualize that picture. How does this look like? What kind of freedom are you personally looking for? How does this fit into your life? How does this fit in you? Like, when you are free, what is becoming possible? Because to be honest, you have already all the freedom you have. Do you realize that? The moment that you started trading, you have received all the freedom. You have the freedom to make any decision, any trade you want. You can get in and out whenever you want. You can be in the market whenever you want, and very soon, 24, 5 days a week. And if you trade in crypto, you already have that. So you have the freedom, but that's not the freedom you're talking about, right? In fact, you don't have the freedom that you're talking about because you are not ready to handle the freedom that you already have. Think about it. Think about it. You are not ready to handle the freedom that you already have. And that's why you don't have the freedom that you want. So these are just a few questions that will get you started. And because many traders feel like they're not good in writing, inside my program, I provide tools that guide you through this discovery process step by step. I guide you completely. We work through it together so I can help you spot the blind spots as well. Another way, which is a very powerful practice to do this, to define your identity as a trader, especially the second part, is finding someone that you can model and that you can understand their beliefs. So this is how you can create sort of a blueprint for your success. Look for someone who has already and is the type of person that you want to become. That's why it's so important for yourself to identify who do you want to become in the first place, right? So, and then take a look at their beliefs. What do they believe about trading? What do they think about risk? How do they handle mistakes, losses? And what's their take on success? So just look at the full picture, and this will give you an idea how to achieve that yourself. And this is very effective because it's about self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to succeed. But when you see someone else who made it, and this is say, okay, I exactly want that, you will understand what they believe, what beliefs help them to get there. And this will boost your own belief that you can make it too. So research shows that modeling successful people, whether it is in trading or anywhere else, can help you build confidence and make better decisions and take more consistent actions. And there is no consistency without consistent actions. So it's all about building positive habits, mental habits, and adopting positive beliefs of someone who already has what you want will help you to start shifting your own mindset. And that's why exactly, this is one of the reasons why in my community, you find traders who have already reached the success that you're aiming for. And there is space where people can share their ways, how they achieve that and what they believe. Like, those conversations are very inspiring for traders who are still on the way. Do you guys have any questions on that step? Now we're moving on. And we will have time for questions at the end. So second question, just before we do the hot seat. So how many times, let me know in the chat, how many times have you broken your promises to yourself? Maybe you told yourself you will get up early or stay up late, prepare for the next trading day, maybe test your strategy, back testing, work on your trading plan. Always, yeah. Why is it so easy to break those promises? You say you will stick to your rules, and then boom, last minute you decide to break them. You say, I'll take three trades and I'm done for the day. Before you know, 28 on your journal. Just think about it. If your friend would keep making promises to you, let's say he would say, I'll meet you up, I'll meet up with you, and then he wouldn't show up. After how many times doing that would you stop trusting him? How many chances would you give him? how many times would you say, or at least you would say something to him, perhaps 3 times, right? We're so harsh on other people, right? We just 3 times, but for ourselves, like, sure, I break my promises. I completely, you know, give the promise to myself, but not respect it. So if you keep breaking promises to yourself, how can you trust yourself? And when you cannot trust yourself, how can you expect to succeed? Just think about it. We are so used to people not keeping their promises these days that it just kind of becomes a normal thing, right? And we keep doing that to ourselves. And in trading, it's a huge thing. This is why the second most important component that we look at is personal integrity. It's about building a strong, honest relationship based on trust with yourself. And this is the most effective way to rebuild your confidence. It's about being accountable for your actions and honoring your promises, not just to others, but to yourself. Many times it's much easier to honor it to others because we don't want to, we don't want them to think bad about us, right? But us thinking bad about us, no problem. So being truthful to yourself, your values, and following through on what you say you are going to do, no matter what the market does, no matter what the external world does. It's about you. No matter what other people trigger in you or the market, that you are staying truthful to yourself, to your values, and you follow through on your word. And that's where the real power is, because then you are able to actually decide how and even if you respond to something. If you know you can trust yourself, that you're not going to be reactive, you have the power. You have the power to say no. You have the power to walk away from your trading desk when you decide to, not when the market decides to take you out. When you build personal integrity, this is really the way to break the failing cycle, because you become much more confident and you stop repeating the same things over and over again. You can start making confident decisions because you can trust that what you say you will do. Now, most traders focus on the wrong thing, the result, making money. And then they get caught up in chasing the next big thing. Are you recognizing this? Is the money focus? Anyone focus on money, or you are all like, no, I don't care how much money I make. I don't care about money. So the problem with focusing on money is that it makes you emotional because there's value behind it. Your self-value and everything that's the money represents for you. So you start making decisions based on fear or greed, and that leads to impulsive, random, and inconsistent actions. And that does not lead to consistency, because even though you are able to make money, you are not building a system that is based on good habits and a repeatable process. So even though you may make money one day, can you repeat it consistently? No. That's why you're back to square one. You might even be able to trade for a month, really disciplined, and then you say, I'm finally there. And then the next day, you blew up your account or you lose half of it, right? So if you do not have that system that you cannot repeat, you cannot secure consistent profits. So I hope that you get that consistency is actually far more important than making money in the short term. Those little profits or big profits, it doesn't matter. Especially if you want to trade for a living, because without a repeatable and a system that you can trust, you will never achieve consistency. You will be hopeful, you will be excited, and the dopamine gonna kick in, and you're like, oh, it's finally happening. Oh, not again. And then you ride this roller coaster. Because this is where exactly personal integrity comes in. It helps you build good system based on good habits, it's about consistently doing what you say that you will do. Random actions will never build habits. It's about repetition, and nor will they give you the consistency that you need in order to become a profitable trader. It's all about repetition. And this applies to good habits and bad habits. The longer you are stuck in the cycle, the stronger the bad habits become, and the more chances that you're going to repeat them again. So that's where the habits start to become part of identity, and you start saying things like, oh, I am just an impatient person. And maybe some of you are already saying it to yourself. Not just I'm a loser, but I'm a very impatient person. So that is where a habit or the doing becomes a bad habit in trading, in this case, becomes part of your identity. That's why the first step is so important. So here's how you get started to build personal integrity. Start with small and achievable promises. Just start setting simple commitments that you can easily follow through on. For example, every single day, pick one thing that you commit to, whether it's reviewing your trading plan in the morning, or focus, like, let's say, take one action for a week, or sticking to a specific rule. And it could be as simple as placing your stop loss order every time you take a trade, if that is something you struggle with. And what are other small commitments that you can actually take? And maybe you can share in chat so that you inspire others as well. Because small wins build the confidence. Like, what are the little small things you can do every day, commit to, and say, this is what I will be focusing on today. Focusing doesn't mean this is what I'm going to be perfect in, because it's not about perfection. Go for 70, 80%. Don't expect yourself to go from 0 to hero. It's building habits, it's practice. So do you have any ideas what kind of things you can do as small promises that you can do in the morning? And if you say, Alan, you say, I focus on trading well. What does that mean? How does that look like? Trading well, what does that look like in action? So be very specific with yourself, guys, because if you are not specific, your brain is going to fill it in and default to things that it knows. Yeah. Okay. The step 2 is create non-negotiable routines. Build routines that support your goals and make them non-negotiable. Whether it is pre-trade ritual, journaling after every session, or maybe even after every trade, dedicating time for your daily reflection, just having some fixed habits that will help you create consistency. If you build those routines into your day, they just become automatic and they require less mental energy for you to maintain, just like brushing teeth. You don't have to think about it anymore. If you want some help with this, and I will ask Eva to share the link in the chat, I have a very useful tool that you can download from my website. It's called the Trader's Good Habit Tracker. If you haven't yet, download it and start using it to build your routine. There's already thousands of traders that are using it, and it will help you track your habits and measure which specific habits are impacting your trading performance, so you can build the most effective routine that supports your trading. So that is something that it's a tool, so you have to use it for it to work. So don't download it and forget it. Start using it. I know that a lot of people download things and then they just never use it, and they wonder why things are not working. Howard, maybe some of you know him. He is president and co-founder of the American Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Association. Also, he is running the live channel of Quasar Markets. He has been working with the habit tracker for some time now, and the insights that he got from it, really, he said it helped him to change not only his results, but also find a better work, trade, and life balance. And I really recommend you to at least take a look at this, see how you can implement it into your routine, and see what kind of things are impacting your performance, so that you don't make yourself crazy with 120 different things you want to do in your routine, but really do the things that do move the needle. Okay, so give it a go. Don't give it a try. Give it a fair chance. Give yourself a fair chance. The step 3 of building personal integrity is using habit stacking. And if you are familiar with Atomic Habits, a book, this is the concept that he's describing there. So you can check it out, but it's basically about stacking new habits into existing ones. So for example, if you are already having a habit of checking the markets in the morning, add a short moment of reflection or a journaling or a quick review of your trading plan right before. That will reinforce the habit by tying it to something that you already do. It will be much easier for you to follow through on it. Building habits is not easy. I know that, because it requires consistent repetition, and that applies also to mental habits and can be a challenge. And that's why it is so good to have someone that holds you accountable and give you support so that you can actually follow through on it. And having setting for yourself very clear and measurable goals, instead of goals like become consistent or be patient, which is still pretty vague, break them down into specific small actions, something you can measure. How does it look like? So for example, today I will focus on exiting my trade at this and this level. Or today I will make it a priority to take a short break between each trade and walk away from my desk, just as an example, okay? This will give you a really clear target and make it just much easier to track your progress and to execute it if you know how it looks like. What is it that you actually have to do? And please remember to celebrate yourself, okay? When you hit a milestone, reinforce your commitment by celebrating. So having that accountability and support system is one of the most powerful ways to build personal integrity. Because when you share your goals, when you share your commitments with someone that you trust, whether it's your coach, your peer, someone who understands what you are going through as a trader, just knowing that someone else is aware of promises that you made, it just gives you this extra layer of motivation. And they can also encourage you and remind you to stay on track, to stay truthful to yourself. So that kind of helps to navigate the challenges. If you prefer more independent approach, you can consider tracking your progress through a journal or some app where you have, to-do lists or stuff that sends you reminders. So the idea is that you see a daily progress and where you can improve. So this can be incredibly motivating, especially if you are someone who like checking off boxes. And there's plenty of journals you can use online and free tools as well. So that is accountability partner and support system. This is one of the things that, it's part of what I do. This, for me, this is something that I put a lot of focus on with my students, to always stay on top and making sure that they are progressing. And I have to tell you that this incredible community that we have at the Head Coach just gives so much encouragement to each other and support, and it's absolutely invaluable to your success. Any questions so far? If not, we're going to move to the next step of developing compassionate discipline. Most traders believe that if they could just stop feeling their emotions, everything would change. Do you think you can switch off your emotions? I hear so many traders saying, like, if I would just be more like a robot, like if I don't feel emotions, I would have no problem. Let me know in the chat. What's your take on it? Can you switch off your emotions? It's not easy, right? No, it's not easy because emotions are a natural part of human experience. They are inevitable, especially in trading where you have all these triggers coming at you from inside and outside. The market will always trigger you. This is your working condition. So you can't control that. And I know many traders try. But what you can do is build emotional resilience. And that's the ability to regulate and recover from emotions without letting them control your trading. And this is exactly where the compassionate discipline comes in, because when you develop emotional immunity, you get that strength to withstand emotional pressure and make rational. Alan, you say emotions come from your body. We actually create emotions, but interesting there, recently I watched, there is a TED Talk about emotions, and after 20 years of research, they concluded that emotions are actually simply gas, a gas that comes into our brain. Really, really good. Like if you want to look it up, it's really interesting. And that we can control it. They also came to the conclusion that we definitely can control our emotions. And this is part of the emotional immunity, how to do that. So emotional immunity is building the kind of resilience that helps you to handle that stress and pressure so that you can make rational decisions, even when the market is so wild. So it's not pretending that there is no fear, no frustration, or no greed. Those emotions will show up. That's part of the experience. This is actually what the market is designed to do, to make you greedy, to make you chase. The difference is that if you have emotional immunity, instead of being hijacked by your emotions, you learn how to regulate and decide what your response is. Instead of reaction, you start deciding and responding to it. And response could be also not responding. And this is what allows you to stay calm, to think clearly, and act from reason and not panic. And it doesn't mean that you are suppressing or fighting your emotions. It means that you are training yourself to manage the influence that the emotions have on you and your decisions. So instead of letting fear pushing you around and getting into impulsive trades, or your frustrations tempt you to break your rules, or to chase and jump in, you pause, you step back, and you choose based on your plan and not your feelings. So emotional immunity is about having a response system that keeps you grounded and focused, even in the most intense market conditions. When you have emotional immunity, you stop reacting to every market movement with fear, greed, and frustration, and you start making confident decisions aligned with your plan. And this is what leads to consistent performance. And that is what becomes a key factor in your long-term success. And one of my students who joined my last group said, or actually last year, she said that she applied emotional immunity strategies when emotions were running high, and she was able to prime her brain using visualization. That's something that I provide in my program, on a regular basis, and notice more consistency in her results. And she stuck to her plan much more. So those visualizations, they are actually priming your brain on a deeper level for the desired performance. And I also, fun fact, provide an impulsive trader aid kit, which is filled with tools for impulsive traders so that they are easy to use and they are preventing you on going on tilt. Speaking of tilt, do you know why so many traders and some of you are experiencing tilt? Anyone? Do you know why you're experiencing tilt? For most traders that are experiencing tilt, Actually, the reason why most traders are experiencing tilt is because they believe that they can control their emotions, actually. But in reality, instead of controlling them, they're suppressing them. So they try to push down the feelings like fear, frustration, disappointment, shame, all the feelings that are coming up, thinking that if they ignore them, if they suppress them, then that will give them control over their actions. But here is what really happens. When you suppress emotions, you build emotional pressure. And eventually, this pressure has to be released. And it often comes all at once in the worst moment. And it leads you to impulsive and irrational decisions. And this is what we call going on tilt. You completely lose it. It's like trying to press a balloon under the water and hold it there. You know, when you keep it there, and then it slips away and there's the explosion. So the irony is that trying to control or suppress your emotions doesn't give you control at all. It actually leads you to a complete loss of control. Because suppressed emotions do not vanish. They only become bigger, more concentrated, and then they erupt because it's an energy and it has to go. It will eventually see a little way to get out. So instead of trying to push your emotions away, learn how to regulate them. And by understanding and managing your emotions as they arise, that's how you get true control. And so that's how you can start making rational decisions. Otherwise, without emotional immunity, it's impossible to manage those emotional triggers, like everything that markets triggers, and then they end up taking over. So that's when traders make impulsive choices. And when your emotions are in a driver's seat, the behaviors that you're doing, they just don't line up with your plan because you're not thinking straight, you're just reacting. And that's what's leading most of the time to losses. So once you do that, you start replaying those mistakes in your head and then beat yourself up, doubt yourself, get even more frustrated, and the circle is round. So the negative cycle chips away on your confidence and makes it harder to trust your plan. So before you know it, you're stuck on a merry-go-round of emotional chaos, and that keeps you from ever moving forward. So how do you move forward? To get started on building emotional immunity, the first thing you need to do is identify your triggers. What makes you anxious or frustrated when you're trading? Is it a losing trade? Is it a missing opportunity? Is it what is it? I know a lot of traders who have the bull effect, get triggered by color red. So what is it that you are getting triggered by? Is it when the price goes closer to your stop? Let me know in the chat. Do you know what you are getting triggered by? Because once you identify these triggers, when it goes towards my stop, yeah. So once you identified it, now you can also take and you move it. So such a common thing. Take a note of whether it is a mental or emotional reaction. So is it something that you feel? Or is it because you're telling a story to yourself, like, I cannot handle losing, or I will never be successful if I take this loss? So is it your mental reaction, or is it an emotional reaction, like something physical? Do you feel tightness in your chest, or your heart starts pumping twice as hard? And the more you are aware of those triggers, how they show up, and what is it that they are triggering, the easier it will be for you to regulate your response. It's like you will be using the right tool for the right trigger, so to say, for the right response. So this is the first step This awareness of your triggers is the first step in building your resilience. And this is exactly the kind of thing that we dive much more deeply in the breakthrough call that I will tell you how to join later. Okay. So if you want, make a screenshot of this. In fact, one of my students said that after we went through this process, she has noticed her emotions calm down. And prior to that, her emotions were all over the place. So it really helped her to actually, regardless of the result of the trading day, just step away and live her life without being grouchy and without, feeling bad about herself the whole day. And she does not do that anymore. She just leaves the charts when the day is over, and that's it. So to build that emotional immunity, I teach 12 key mindset skills in my program. And one of them, the most important one, which will not come as a surprise to you, I think, is self-compassion. Because studies consistently find that people who practice self-compassion handle stress and setbacks much better. Instead of falling into this negative self-talk or giving up, they respond to with kindness and patience towards themselves, and that helps them bounce back faster. So now in trading, this makes a huge difference, because when you take a loss, instead of beating yourself up, you respond with understanding, and that helps you build confidence, right? So it keeps you also calm and focused on the bigger picture. So you are moving on instead of getting stuck and, constantly hitting the same drum about the loss that happened 10 minutes ago. So you can actually move with the market and look for another opportunity. So this is really a cornerstone of the call of compassionate discipline, right? Because it's about honoring your progress, learning from your mistakes without shame, and continuing to move forward. So it's a combination of emotional strength and patience keeps you in control, instead of letting frustration and self-doubt throw you off track. And I promise you free tools. So here is another one you will be able to download. And I will ask Eva if you could put the link in the chat for you guys. This one will help you build the awareness of your triggers and keep your emotions in check. And you get it only when you are live in this class. In fact, you cannot get this tool anywhere on my website. So this is only specifically, you get it here. And if you don't get it now, then you will not get it anywhere else, basically. This tool, if you use it, will help you build your awareness of the triggers and help you see where you are emotionally during the day. So you build more awareness and keep your emotions in check. We have already established that many of you are often feeling like you are putting in the work, grinding every day, but still not seeing the results you expect, right? You're pushing hard, following the strategies, something isn't clicking. Now, if that's the case, the problem might be that your trading is out of sync with the rest of your life. And this is why the last component of building compassionate discipline is strategic integration. It's about creating a trading routine that supports both your financial goals and your personal life. It's not about sticking to your strict rules, but finding the balance. You need to stay disciplined, but also you need to take care of yourself so that you are not burning out. And this isn't about following strategy just to make money, but it's about making that strategy work for you and aligning it with your personality, your lifestyle, so that you can actually build your edge and set yourself up for long-term success. And I saw someone talking about the edge in trading. Very important. So when you go through strategic integration process, trading stops feeling like it's grind. Instead of, it becomes something that more fits with your life. I like to say trading for a living is more of a lifestyle. This is how I experience the switch and how I experience trading. It's not a job, right? Because most people who start trading, they don't want to have a job, but they fall back into the old pattern of having a job, making trading a job. So by aligning your trading with your personal life, you're not just setting yourself up for success, but you are really creating something that's sustainable, and not just financially, but mentally and physically too. So this helps you stay focused and make much more, clear decisions that are aligning with your bigger vision, not from a place of stress and pressure, but really, what is it that you want to achieve in your life long term, without giving up and sacrificing yourself in the process. So I mentioned, the treating treating trading like 9-to-5 job. A lot of traders fall back into that. They say, I don't want to work my job. I want to trade because I want to be free. And then they start trading and they start treating trading like 9-to-5 job. That's because of the mindset. A lot of people feel like they need to be glued to their computers for hours, working hard to make money, working hard again, deserving to be paid. And the problem is that when you don't go through strategic integration, you will keep stuck in that employee mindset. So you might find yourself spending more time in front of the screen than it's required, and then than you should, just to feel like you are earning your money. But let's be honest, did you start trading to be stuck at your desk all day? Did you? Because I know that when I started trading, I imagined freedom, more freedom than I already had, not less. When you start integrating your trading into your life strategically, then it's about balancing discipline with self-care. That's why the compassionate discipline is key. And this way you can create more sustainable approach. So instead of grinding away for hours, you learn how to work smarter, not harder, and still reach your goals without sacrificing your personal life or burning out your health. How many traders you see like burning out from trading? Another podcast episode, by the way, about the burnout that I did a few months ago. So when one of my students implemented a specific trading routine the night before and in the morning before she gets on the charts, she reported that having a morning routine actually feels calming and makes her feel more in control. She was also able to wait patiently for her setup and not rush in as soon as she got onto the charts. So without that strategic integration, basically, you just keep repeating the same patterns that you are used to as in your life, how you have been achieving that success, feeling that like you have to work hard, you have to work long hours, but that doesn't give you the progress you want. So you end up feeling exhausted, disconnect from your bigger goals, and your motivation unfortunately becomes less and less, and you start questioning everything. So here's a simple checklist that is addressing both the practical and the emotional aspects that you can use to start thinking about how your trading fits with your lifestyle, your values, your well-being, so that you can create a more balanced approach to trading. So feel free to take a screenshot of this. And I'm not going to go through everything, so you can do this as a homework, so to say. Just take a screenshot and you can print it out and really start working on that. Start asking yourself about all these elements, and how is your trading now integrated into your life? This is a process that we are diving so much deeper in my program, because strategic integration is really what makes your success sustainable long term. And as a part of this integration, we work on aligning your strategy with who you are so you can enhance your edge. And that is something that you will be working directly with Peter Robbins on. Are you guys familiar with Peter Robbins? He is a veteran trader with 50 years of trading experience, believe it or not. And you might know him from Twitter. He has, I think, 120,000 followers or so. And I am lucky enough to have him in my program doing 2 workshops. And this is what he's helping you with, basically. So these were the 4 components of compassionate discipline. And in essence, with compassionate discipline, you switch from walking on a random suspension bridge all the time, where you have no control over and you are not sure if and when it might collapse, to building a bridge that has all the necessary elements to bring steadiness, certainty, and joy into your trading journey and your life, not just now, but also in the future. So the bridge, where the trader's identity gives you the foundation, so it gives you the clarity and the confidence, so that you can make decisions based on who you are as a trader, not the outside pressure, not the outside noise. The personal integrity that forms the framework and gives you the support that you need in order to keep actions in line with your values, with your commitments, and helping you stay accountable without beating yourself up. The emotional immunity that functions like the support beams of the bridge, keeping you steady and grounded and helping you manage emotions, those fluctuations, the pressures, so that you don't fall into impulsive decisions. And the strategic integration, tying everything together and allowing you to reach your goals with ease while enjoying the journey, without sacrificing your well-being along the way. So this is what compassionate discipline can do for you. And it is up to you to decide now whether you are going to keep doing what hasn't been working, enforcing discipline, struggling to follow your plan, and hoping that one day it will magically click. I will tell you it won't, because it's not a matter of time. Will you keep bouncing from one strategy to the next? Will you be reading more psychological books? Will you be doing everything but actually doing the doing, what you know you need to do? And even though deep down you already know that repeating the same mistakes will not work, right? Because it will reinforce your bad habits and even strengthens the belief that you will never make it. So will you choose a different path? Will you say yes to something you already know works? Something that is designed to help you to finally become the trader that you want to be. Are you really ready to feel empowered and excited about the right guidance, making the commitment to lasting changes in your trading? This is what it is about. The reason why only a small percentage of traders are consistently profitable and are actually able to make a living trading is because they dare to get out of their comfort zone. They dare to challenge themselves. But the majority isn't, and they simply are not prepared for what trading really demands. So just look at the education out there. It's mostly technical, right? And the psychological is more of the knowledge, not the knowing, not embodying the knowledge. And if you say, I know what to do, but you don't do it, do you really know what to do? If you don't address the real problem, you will simply stay stuck with the majority, the 95%. always struggling. And don't get me wrong, it will feel familiar, it will feel safe, but it will not get you where you want to be, because comfort does not lead to growth. And as the saying goes, it's lonely at the top, and that's because not many people dare to face the discomfort of change. So the question is, do you dare to do that so that you can have the life you want? Will you allow yourself to move beyond your limits, move beyond the comfort zone, the safe space, and do what it really takes to make trading work for you? And if your answer is definitely yes, then I'm here ready to guide you through each step of building the compassionate discipline. If you are the kind of person who is ready to take action, commit to your growth, and also want the system that's proven and you know it's working, then I'm here. And I would love to see you inside my coaching program. It's the Rise Up of the Profitable Trader, starting September 2nd. And if you are wondering if this is the right fit for you, that's what the breakthrough call is for. And I will share more details with you in a moment. But I actually want to spend some time now answering your questions, because that's where the real value is. But before we dive in, I want you to pause for a second and notice where your head is at right now. The fact that you are still here tells me that you are searching for a solution. There is a reason why you're here. At the same time, I know from experience that it's not always easy to accept help. For some, it's the perfectionism. I have to figure it out on my own. For others, it's shame or just doubting that anything will really work for them. For some, it's the money. I cannot afford it. I cannot afford to get help. So check in with yourself. Have you already made up your mind about whether this can work? Whether this can work for you? Whether it's the right moment? Because you know that it's never the right moment. Because you will always tend to go back to what you know. Because your beliefs and the thoughts that keep you stuck in that failing cycle, that's exactly what is coming now, and it's telling you all the things to keep you there. And this is not just for trading. Those very same thoughts and beliefs might be keeping you stuck in your other parts of your life too. So just know that resistance is a very natural response to change, and even to a perspective that you might want to make a change. Being present helps everything, absolutely. Yes. That's a very broad question, and we can get to it in a minute. So the solution is right here. In the course of 12 weeks, inside the program, I will take you through the 4 elements of building compassionate discipline, not just the theory, the actual doing, so that you can start following your plan with self-confidence, self-control, and consistency, and finally turn the corner and become the trader that you aspire to be. The reason why it works is because I put so much focus on personal guidance, lots of live interaction, support directly from me, and accountability, and also being part of the community. And all of that is specifically designed to help you build those powerful habits that can carry you forward, that you can live with much more discipline, but also compassionate approach to trading, and that you can sustain it on your own. So you don't need me for the rest of your life, of your trading life. And because trading is a continuous journey, you never stop learning. And that might, for many people, this is one of the reasons why they have chosen trading in the first place, because they really like self-development and they like the challenge of being confronted with themselves. I make sure you have plenty of opportunities to strengthen your skills and practice discipline and keep the momentum going. So for those who want even a higher level of support, there is an another opportunity to get much more one-on-one access to me throughout the program. There are options available. But if that's something that you want to explore, I will absolutely be happy to share more details when we connect after this class. So if you can schedule a call with me to find out more, to learn more about the program and about the opportunity. And when you schedule in the next 15 minutes, you will call, and then you come on the call and you enroll to the program, you get an extra bonus. And this is 3 months membership to my Discord, which is completely only mindset focused. And it gives you monthly live masterclasses, monthly live Q&As, and this is on top of the program, and the daily access to community chat, and of course me. So scan the QR code or click on the link. Eva posted already in the chat. Thank you, Eva. The enrollment actually opened yesterday, and it closes on Wednesday next week because the group begins on September 2nd. So if you scan the QR code or click the link and choose the time that works best for you, seats are limited and the schedule is pretty full already. So grab those that are still available. Those breakthrough calls are in small group settings, and I will take you through the details of the program. So the whole idea is, and the purpose of those calls is to see if this is the right fit for you. And this is what, and what are the options that you can choose, how we can work together. So only if you book your call in the next 15 minutes, you get this extra bonus. So we are going to move on to questions and hot seats, if you like. And then if you want to have a hot seat, by the way, I invite you to put a hot seat in a chat, and Eva is going to see how many people want to come on the hot seat. So basically the hot seat is meant to talk one-on-one here in the group with me, bring your specific challenge and get some ideas how you can move past it. Yeah. So just looking in a chat. All right. So if you would like hot seat, please feel free. If you have any questions, please put them also in the chat, because this is the moment where we start going into questions. And when you schedule your call until the next 15 minutes, then you will get that extra bonus when you enroll, when we are on the call together. All right. Okay. Yes, I do not mention the fee, Alan, because I am not showing you the offer. So that's why the calls are for. I kept you here already very long. I wanted to give you the most value possible. I will give you all the details on the call. What I can tell you is that the program is a 4-figure investment, and it is designed for traders who are committed to achieve 5-figure monthly income through trading. Okay. So if you are asking yourself, if you're looking at this and you're asking yourself if you can afford it, then my question is, can you afford to stay where you are? Because let's be honest, investing in your growth as a trader is really a powerful way to demonstrate your commitment to your success. Like, how many courses have you already bought? I mean, I don't know, have you ever had a course that you bought and you didn't do anything with it? When you become a lawyer, or when you build your own career, did you have to invest in yourself to do that? Or did you just, like, it came to you from the universe and suddenly you were, I don't know, a doctor? Remember that when you make a financial investment in your development, it really increases your motivation and commitment to achieving your goals. And when you work with me, I completely commit to your growth. I want you to become my next success story. So the people that I work with, there is no if, there is only when and how. And the when and how I actually presented to you today and gave it to you. So if you are still uncertain about whether your success is worth a 4-figure investment, I definitely encourage you guys to take some time and to reflect on what achieving your trading goals truly means to you and what it is worth to you, even before you get on a call with me. But if you are ready to fully commit to make the breakthrough in your trading, then hop on the call with me and let's see if this is the right fit for you. And then I will give you full details about the offer, because it would not be fair to you to give you a price without actually showing all the value that you are getting. Okay. If you would, if I would ask you if you want to buy a car and I would tell you it's 100,000 without knowing what car it is, how would you know if it's worth it? And then if I would tell you, yeah, but it's a Lamborghini, you would go like, oh my God, this is a great deal, right? So that's the reason why I'm not showing you the fee. I hope that makes sense. So the next group begins September 2nd. This is the last group this year. The next one will be next year. And next year, somewhere in January, February, most likely. So because I know that this might feel big, I don't want you to make the decision right now. That's why I'm offering those breakthrough calls, small groups where I will walk you through it, answer your questions, and then help you decide if this is the right fit for you. And also if you are the right fit for the program. Since you are here in this class, you have the opportunity to book the call with the extra bonus. No one else gets it, only people who are who are in this class. So there's just few days left and my schedule is pretty full already. So check it out and grab your seat. All right. So I know that there were a lot of questions in between. I wanted to focus on the content. So let me know what your questions are. And if you want a hot seat, we can do that right now. And just for your information, if this is where you can find me, Podcast Confidence in Trading on Twitter. The handle is @_coach and on other social media. And one more thing before I stop sharing my screen. If you guys have enjoyed the class, if you found it valuable for you, I would really appreciate if you leave a review. So the next time when I have this class next year, that other traders who haven't joined a class like this with me, they can understand what they can expect from it. So if you could leave a review on Trustpilot, I would really appreciate that. Oh yeah, and we also have the WhatsApp group still open until Wednesday. If you have any questions, you can always ask it there. I know a lot of QR codes. Eva, if you could post a link to the WhatsApp group. If you guys are not part of it yet, you can always reach out to me, and this is directly to my number. So I personally answer every single message. And yeah, I hope you found this helpful. Let's see if you guys have any questions. You are very welcome. So Alan says, my question is, show me some actual benefit to traders. I would have to talk to you in more detail. Yeah, please, Alan, schedule a call and we can hop on the call, or we can do that also on the WhatsApp, in the WhatsApp group, if you would like to reach there. I would like to understand a little bit more with actual benefit to traders. In the, like, there is like, if you can go to Trustpilot as well and see what benefits traders get. But yes, I definitely can show you like results. If you mean results like stats, yes, I can definitely show you what traders are achieving with those results with this program. Anything else? All right, so if there are no more questions, I want to thank you so much. I will give it 2 more minutes, guys. If you have any questions, are you trying to formulate a question, or otherwise, I don't believe you given all you said. What do you mean? I don't believe you given all you said. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what you mean, Alan, but the QR for the call. Yes. Let me see. Here's the QR code, and I'm gonna share my screen again. Eva, if you could post the link again, thank you. You are reading my mind. All right. So here, Robert, is the QR code. Okay. Yes. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for spending, 2.5 hours on your Saturday, and I hope you will have a wonderful weekend. I really enjoyed it. I hope I will hear from you soon, and maybe see you even on the call. If I see you and on the call, and if I don't, stay in my universe. Please stay in touch. I will be sending the recording soon, and you can always get back to the material that we have talked about. All right. Thank you again for your contribution and engagement. And I'm gonna go also through all the chat and all the questions. And if you are in a WhatsApp group, I will get back on your questions in the WhatsApp group as well. All right. Thank you and have a good weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye.